Hello, Patricia here. Today I would like to talk about how, as a woman, you'd tell if you're looking for a father in a boy or in a man. Um, when I talk of a father, I'm not talking about the physicalness of a father, like the body, but rather the role that your father plays or is supposed to play in your life. One, a father is supposed to provide emotional and mental needs. How this is done is by providing unconditional love that in return enhances the growth and development of self-love, self-esteem, positive self-image, and ultimately this makes a girl feel confident and sort of gives a reference point on how a boy or a man should treat her. The violation of this also gives that girl the reference point. So the positive or the negative side of how a father treats a girl gives them a reference point on how a man or a boy should treat them. So the first thing that you need to understand is, where are you in terms of development, or rather growth in your sexuality? Are you in the girlish stage? Are you in the womanhood stage? Has your sexuality matured? Are you still excited? And you would know if you're in girlish stage, which is teenagehood, if you find the muscles of a man attractive, in terms of it's very sensational, so to speak, rather, or exciting, like, oh, look at his muscles, oh, I just want to touch those muscles, or look at the gluten muscles. I know a lot of men don't believe that women check men out, but we do check them out. We just don't talk about it. So you need to understand, what stage are you at? Are you in that stage, or are you, because in this stage, how a girl measures the goodness of a man is by, oh my god, he's so cute, oh my god, look at the muscles, oh my god, look at the gluten muscles. That is how teenagehood is. And that's just a fact. If you have matured, how a woman measures the goodness of a man is by how well that man has self-awareness, how much peace they radiate from their inner self. And that's the stage where, actually, at that point, you should now settle down and make a choice on whom you want to settle down with. Otherwise, if you're in the excitement stage, teenagehood stage, oh, the muscles, oh, look at that, oh, look at that, you're still not matured. And it's a very dangerous stage if you don't have some sort of guidance. So if you make it out of teenagehood without a scratch and all, you've done a good job. So, having understood the stage you're at, the other question you should ask yourself is, what are you expecting? What are your expectations from this boy, from this man? What are your expectations? Your expectations come from a belief system. A belief system which we are taught when we are young by our parents. And a father has a very big influence in that. As I said earlier, because he's the first male figure, and he sets the reference point on how a boy or a man should talk to you, should look at you, should make you feel, you know. So, for example, if you have been brought up by a father, for example, who is manipulative, yeah, there are fathers who are manipulative, um, or controlling. Those are like the two forms of emotional abuse. Well, we could go to further types of emotional abuse, but those are like the very prominent, like they scream out and very common, you know. um if you talk of something like intimidation is a form of control. Okay, I don't want to go into depth of that at this point, but if you're brought up by a father who is like this, you will find it so normal, actually romantic, if a boy or a man is controlling or manipulating you. You find it so normal. Unfortunately, this is the difference between a boy and a man, between romantic relationships and your father. The boy or the man does not have the best interest for you. Your father, no matter how they have brought you up, fathers do have the best interest for their children, no matter how they have brought their children up. In their own way of understanding, they have the best interests, regardless of their issues. Unfortunately, those issues, when they are transferred to you, they make you unable to protect yourself from men who are very calculative in manipulation and control. So you will find, for example, what you're expecting from a man. Say you're expecting this man to provide for you food, shelter, and clothing. Men are not stupid, you know. They are very, I wouldn't say smart, but they are very calculative. They look, they watch, they get you, and they know their entry point. So if you are vulnerable, if for example you don't have basic needs that a father should provide, there are men who are going to provide that for you. It's very sad. It's very sad. There are men who are going to provide that for you in return for whatever they want from you. And they know. They know. Akale ukikapatia chakula na nguo, mahali ya kulala, tosha. You know? There are men who look for the weak women in the society, and you're weak if you don't have self-awareness. They do exist. So your job is not to try and stop them. Your job is to identify them a mile or 10 miles away. That's your job. And you cannot do that if you do not go back to finding out what was the relationship between you and your father. How has it influenced your past romantic relationship, whether it's with a boy, you know, or with a man, you know? Once you have retrogressed a bit, then you start to study and analyze and think, I was expecting this from this. I was expecting this from the. Everybody has a cycle in romantic relationship. Everybody has a cycle. The only difference is if you are actually identifying your cycle and if you're growing or trying to change that cycle. Everybody has a cycle. That is, there's nobody who is perfect. And there are people who, especially men, who enjoy women who have such cycles because then it's an easy target, you know? So your job is to identify what your father influence, you know? How has your father influenced your relationships with boys and or with men? How? Okay. So I have a list of how you can like check. I will look at it in the next video, but I'll just brush or on top like the first one. The first one is, what are you expecting? This is very important. What are you expecting? What are your expectations? Because women have been blamed for things that they don't have anything to do with, because somehow culturally and religiously, the very definition of womanhood is weakness. They will even quote the Bible. You know, I have grown up in church. I have heard these sermons. I've heard people, I've heard reverends and all these people quote the Bible and use it against women, you know. But I will leave you with this. The number one thing that you also need to know and understand in regards to who you are as you search for your authentic self is, number one, you are a human being. Okay, you're a human being. You're a human being who has a sexuality, or the sexuality of a woman. You do have a sexuality, and that sexuality is that of a woman. Okay, it is your soul first, then there's womanhood. You're not a woman, you're a human being who has a sexuality of a womanhood, sexuality of a woman, you know, sexuality of a womanhood. Just your wording there. Yeah, so I will leave you with that until the next video, and I hope that you have enjoyed this or learned something from it that is helpful. Bye.